going to choose yes, we want to set up this account. And then we're going to have our account setting. The default will be income because it's in an income account, so that is correct. The account name will be the service, and then we can select save and close, and then we have the service item. That should pop up as we go now, and the sales tax code is just going to be tax for this case. So then we're going to hit tab, and then we can keep on entering the next information, which will be number 20, which is engine service. And then we can scroll through this again. It's going to be labor. The amount is 125. And then now we can just type in service and it should pop up. It's right there. I'm going to hit the down arrow and then select tab. And then we have the tax here again. And then we can go to the next icon. And if we then enter the rest of the information, this is just, of course, data input. And we scroll down here. We're going to do the same thing for these two items. We're just going to scroll through here, put these two items in there in the same fashion. So at the end of the day, it'll look something like this, and then we can go back to our items down here. It says 26. Once you've entered all of the service items above, save changes, and then click OK. So we then go down over here, save changes on the bottom, the blue button in this version, save changes, and OK. So then if we scroll back to the list, these will pop up in our item list. Page 102 then says that we are now going to select the inventory parts. So now we put the service items, the things that we sell as far as services, to now we're going to put in the parts we sell, which in this case are boats. So we're going to go back over here and make sure it's been saved. Then go to your lists up top, and we want to go to inventory parts now. So these are actually physical types of inventory. And then click Customize Columns button and select the sub item of from the window, and then click Remove. So we're going to do the same type of thing and customize this top window. So we're going to customize this item, and once again we want to customize these windows so that we can fix these as best as possible, so we can put the data in as easily as possible. There's going to be more items here because, of course, now we're talking about inventory instead of services, so this will be a bit longer of a process. So at the end of the day, you want the item list to be in this order, so you can add and take away and move up or down items so that you have the item name, the sales description. Now, I'm going to add the sales description, and I'm going to skip up a little bit because I don't want to enter the data twice. The book's going to have you go back and forth and enter the data twice. If you want to enter it just one time, then go ahead and put the sales description next, and then the purchase description, then the cost, then the sales price, then the cost of goods account, then the income account, the asset account, reorder point, sales tax code, and the quantity on hand. Again, I'm going to shorten this process up a bit because there's a lot of data input, and I'd rather just do it one time than go back in here and do it two times. So that means that if you put it in this list and we just look towards the end and enter all this at one point, then we can work through this a little bit faster. So I'm going to select OK, and then these items up top will be in that order. Once again, you might want to change the size of some of these that probably don't need the cost to be so large and whatnot to fit. And then we can start inputting our data. So I'm going to put in the data here, and you can follow through that. The first item we're going to have is an MSLSV. That's the number. It's going to be a Malibu Sunscape. It's an LSV, and the purchase description is the same. So Malibu Sunscape LSV, and again, I'm skipping ahead a little bit so that we can see that item here. The cost is going to be for $52,000, and the sales price is going to be $65,000. The cost of goods sold account should pop up automatically. And then the income account is, notice it's moving to the side. I'm hitting enter to go to the income account. It's going to be merchandise sales, because we're selling merchandise. I'm going to hit enter, and then the asset account is going to come in automatically as inventory. In this case, we have 0 on hand. Sales tax is always going to be the same, and the quantity on hand, is the reorder point is 0. I'm going to make that smaller, meaning that we're going to reorder when we get to 0 boats. The quantity on hand then will be 2, so make sure to get that in there. And I'm going to go through the next one here. The next one we're going to have an MSLX. It's a Malibu Sportster, and it's an LX. And the Malibu Sportster is going to be the same thing, Malibu Sportster LX. and the cost is $41,600 and 52,000 sales price. Cost of goods sold, it's going to be for merchandise inventory again, and asset is the same, reorder point is the same, tax is the same. Just make sure you get the quantity for this one being 1 in this case. Then we're going to go through all of these. The next one we're going to say is an MS, it's an LXI, it's going to be a Malibu Sunsetter, LXI, once again Malibu Sunsetter LXI, it's for $48,000 cost. We're going to sell it for $60,000. This account pops up automatically. It's going to be for merchandise inventory. Merchandise sales, I should say, and it's going to be the inventory account. 0 is the reorder point, tax is the same, and how many do we have? 1 of these on hand. Alright, notice these are big items, so we're not going to hold on to a lot of inventory. It's an MV. This is a Malibu Ride. I'm going to try to copy it this time by hitting copy and paste, and this will be $38,400. This is our cheapest model. $48,000 is what we'll sell it for. Cost of goods sold. So that's what we bring them in the door for, and then we sell them on the other one. So merchandise sales, and then inventory asset here, and reorder point is 0, tax, and we are going to have 2 of those on hand. All right, and then the next item being the MVVLX, and that's a Malibu Wake Setter VLX. Gonna copy that and paste it here. And for that we have 45,600 and 57,000 cost of goods sold. Once again, merchandise sales asset. 0 is the reorder point, tax is the same, and we have 1 of those on hand. 1 of those on hand. And then the last one being an MWXTI, and that's going to be a Malibu Wake Setter XTI, and we'll just go ahead and copy that and paste that there, and that's going to be for $56,000, and we sell it for $70,000. So this is our highest priced model. It's a merchandise. If you want to look really nice on the lake, you're going for the Malibu Wake Setter, and reorder point is 0, and we have 1 of those on hand. That's the one in the window. We put in the window for the display purposes. And that is basically that. Now, by putting in that information, I basically skipped through putting it in one at a time. So this items, and we skipped through this items, and we put it in there all at one time. The book then had it in there without the description, then wanted you to go back in and put the description in there. So then you can go back in and edit it and put the description in there. And if you do, you'll end up with this items, which is what we just put in there in this format on page 104. So basically, if you follow the directions we just looked over and follow what we just put in there, we won't do it twice. You can just scroll down to page 104, and then we can keep going here. We're going to go ahead and click Save Changes, click OK, and then click Close. So I'm going to say Save Changes, and say OK, and then we can close it. So if we got that in there correctly, now of course our list here will contain these items that we just put in there in relation to the inventory. So when we make our invoices, then we can select these inventory items that already have been selected and set up and are ready to go. Moving down to the next page box, it says from the item list, double click the sales tax icon and type 6.5 in the rate, Bank of Florida as the revenue account. So we're going to go back to our item list, and we're looking for the sales tax. So we have the local sales tax and state sales tax. I'm going to go to the state sales tax since it's Florida, and we will say that the rate is 6.5. And that is going to the Florida Department of Revenue. And we're going to say OK, and then I could set it up entirely. If I do a quick setup, I don't have to put the address in. If we set it up this way, then a screen will pop up giving us more data that we can then put in for the information, giving us the address field and the company name and whatnot. Again, your field might look a little bit different, but it's going to be the same type of information in this area. If it says number 5, if we type the address, which is going to go down here in the billing area for me, it's 1379 32804 328042716, and we can then copy that over here and save it like this, and then we're going to click the OK button, and we should be good on that. So I'm going to scroll down here and we got this information in. I'm going to scroll down to page 105 where it says we're going to prepare this window for printing by clicking the report button on the bottom of the window and then selecting the item list. Click the customize report button. So we're going to go back over here and we're going to select, I'm going to select OK and have that item down here. We're going to go down to the reports at the button at the bottom, and we can then create a report from this item list. So it says prepare this window by clicking the reports button at the bottom and then selecting item list. So report button at the bottom and item list. So now we have a report of the item list. So and then click the display tab and then uncheck. Okay, click the customize report button, click the display tab and then uncheck sales tax code, quantity on purchase. Alright, so we're going to go back to the customize button over here, and in the columns we can decide which columns we want to then display. So we're unchecking the sales tax code, we're unchecking the quantity on hand, we are unchecking the purchase order, quantity on purchase order, and we'll get rid of the reorder tab since it's always 0, and we'll remove the preferred vendor. So then if we scroll back to the book over here, we're on number 10, says click the header footer tab and then uncheck the subtitle, date prepared, and time prepared. So once again, we'll go to the header footer tab and no subtitle, no date prepared, no time prepared once again. And then we're going to go to number 11, says OK. Click from the print button on the report window, select report from the list, and then choose landscape. So then we're going to close this, going to select OK. And then if we wanted to print this landscape, remember we'd have to go to File, and we can go to Print the Form, Print the Report, and then the landscape is located here. And then if we were to print that, we can go ahead and print it there. If we were to preview it, it would look something like this. It's all on one page, which is nice. So then close the item listing. So I'm going to go ahead and save that once again to the Excel document in case we need it at a later time to turn in. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to Excel, going to go to create a new worksheet, and we are going to also create a new